Working Interferences is intended for mature audiences. Since the hosts never grew up, someone needs to be the adult. Welcome to Working Interferences with Josh and Lance, the dental advice podcast for the average dentist. Here is Josh and Lance.
Bros, what is up? Welcome to the Working Interferences podcast, a dental advice show. I am Joshua Austin.
And I am Lance Timmerman.
Lance, I heard something about you taking a tour of KY. Was that KY jelly?
It was jelly filled.
Yeah. Tell me about your KY visit.
Well, it wasn't what we were expecting. What we tend to do is kind of, I wouldn't say spontaneous because we planned this a couple months ago, but we spontaneously decided to go to Mount Rushmore doing the Rona
I remember that.
So,
that was a great one. Just pile in the car. Like it's 20 minutes away.
Yeah. So 18 hours later, we show up in South Dakota. Yeah. But
And how long did you look at the statue?
20 minutes.
And then what?
We came home. We were gone for 2.5 days.
Fucking virus, man. They say it's all respiratory, but I swear to God, 3/4 of it is mental.
Pretty much. But we had a lot of time to kill in the car. And so we downloaded a bunch of, we like murder podcasts, My Favorite Murder and Crime.
There's going to be a new one coming out.
Yeah.
About the BTF killer.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So we found one that was called Bardstown. And I didn't know anything about Bardstown. And
Cowabunga, dude.
It was
Ay caramba.
No, it wasn't Bardstown, but it was similar. So there was these murders that happened years ago, and we thought, as they told the story, then they were trying to get some publicity, so they went to the Bourbon Festival, Bardstown Bourbon Festival, or just Kentucky. Grip and rip it. Is that what you got there?
I got HEB brand, old-fashioned diet root beer. I love that it's old-fashioned root beer with stevia, like Grandpa used to make.
Just like Gramps.
Stevia, yeah.
Like Gramps. So during this podcast, they talked about this bourbon festival that happens in September. And so while we're driving along, I got the Expedia app out, and I said, okay, we're going to the bourbon festival in September. And so we were hoping, we thought everything would be open up by the time, and everything was open. But we did get notice that a week before, or I only realized a week before, that the Bourbon Festival was canceled. We're like, well, shit, well, we still have the flights, so let's just go. We can make our own Bourbon Festival. And
how did your own Bourbon Festival turn out?
It actually turned out really, really well. We saw places that I'd never heard of. We tend to eat our way through places, so we find the Greasy Spoon place and then go eat. We went breakfast or brunch at Mammy's. It was awesome right there in downtown Bardstown.
You have to know that a place in Kentucky called Mammy's is going to have like fucking amazing breakfast. You just know it. Like there's no way it doesn't.
Yeah. So I had to take photos of my food and post it on social media. Just for
you influencer you.
Yeah, exactly. So
what was the best bourbon that you had?
The best bourbon. That's
or your favorite.
Which one? Was it Willet? Holly was saying that Willet. We had the best old fashioned by this master guy there that made an old fashioned from the Willet.
Master mixologist,
something like that. And where they come up with that cube of ice that's so clear that it looks like there's nothing in the glass, and it was so good. So Willet was really, really fun. I would probably go with the Willet. Yeah.
Our friend Mac Jones is a big bourbon guy.
Yeah, so I messaged him saying, hey, wasn't this one of your favorites? And I guess you can't really get Willet there. So we were sending a bottle to him.
Well, like, it's fucking Cuba or something? Like, it's Kentucky. He lives in North Carolina. Like, don't they touch or come close to touching? What the fuck? Why can't he get that bourbon there? what isn't this all the same country? None of that makes sense to me.
It didn't make any sense to me at all either. So he tried to explain it and it was right over my head. It's like, okay, well,
there's some weird stuff with beer like that, where like some breweries don't export from like out of their own state or something.
Well, like
it's so stupid.
Yeah, like Youngling, they won't go to the West Coast because it'll get warm by the time it's there. Okay, well,
every beer gets fucking warm if you leave it in a glass long enough. So, like, what are we gonna have? Yingling police like walking around and clubbing people over the head if they don't drink their beer fast enough? Like, I just don't. I don't understand that. Like, this is all the same country.
Yeah,
this isn't like Europe where we're all different countries.
We're almost there, though.
It's coming in November.
Exactly.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, or impending doom.
Well, good. So get some. So you'd recommend people to try some Willet if they could get it.
Yeah. Willet was great. That 1792 was a great one. It's just this hole in the wall.
Old-fashioned bourbon from 1792, sweetened with stevia, just like your grandpa.
Just like Grandpa. Yeah. So
nice. Well, Lance, this is an advice show.
Tonight it is.
We answer your questions. We answer questions we find in all those neat little dental Facebook groups. We answer questions from Reddit. We start out dentists and dental team members with our own unique brand of advice. So please, we need your questions. They are the sustenance we crave. You can submit your questions to workinginterferences@gmail.com. No, we don't want just any question, do we, Lance?
Fuck no.
We don't want a bunch of boring questions like, what's the greatest bourbon of all time? Because we all know that Old Crow is the greatest bourbon ever. We want the questions that Gordon Christensen cannot answer. Pretty sure that's one that Gordon Christensen cannot answer.
I'm pretty sure that's a safe bet.
I think Old Crow, if I remember correctly, when I was in dental school, there was a guy in my class named Josh Seal. And Josh Seal was from Jasper, Texas, which is like, that is like some deep ass shit in Jasper. That is like East Texas.
All right.
And he used to drink Old Crow. And the Old Crow on the Old Crow page on Wikipedia says, Old Crow is a low-priced brand of Kentucky-made straight bourbon whiskey. Old Crow has a venerable history, but not one of Kentucky's most beloved bourbons.
They're celebrating the bottom shelf.
It's not one of their most beloved ones. It's one of their bourbons.
Yeah.
Not one of their most beloved ones.
It's one of them, but no one likes us.
It does say there are some famous drinkers of Old Crow.
Oh.
Ulysses S. Grant is one.
Okay.
Let's see. There's something about Abraham Lincoln wanting to buy Old Crow for Ulysses S. Grant because, quote, if I can find out, I will send every general in the field a barrel of it, which is interesting. Huh. Confederate General Jubal Early was also a fan of Old Crow. So those are your two famous drinkers.
Wow.
Other famous drinkers of Old Crow, famous politician Henry Clay of Kentucky, and World War II Triple Ace Bud Anderson.
Okay.
So, not exactly like Brad Pitt or George Clooney.
Not quite the endorsement that they would. Yeah,
they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Question 1. Reddit user Mego My Ego 0311 asks, I'm being threatened by a dentist to take down my 1-star Yelp review. This guy is corrupt. If I knew, I would have never went to him. I just gave him a 1-star Yelp review saying my experience. He is calling me daily and texting me saying he has all my information and he's going to change my care credit, or he's going to charge my care credit for the remaining balance on my account, as well as send me to collections if my review is not deleted by Monday. First off, there is no remaining balance. I paid in full. Then I had to cancel the credit card. Is there any way he can retaliate against me for not taking the review down? I don't know what he is capable of, and I don't know what I don't think I should have to take the review down. Any advice or input would be appreciated. Thanks.
Wow. I mean, I'm no review expert or a review doctor as you are, but
I think Lin Tao calls himself that.
Okay. All right.
Fucking gag inducing.
Okay.
I really dislike that guy. Let me just say that. I'm going to say that on the air for the first time.
Okay.
I don't like Lin Tao.
Okay. Right.
Please someone forward this to him. He's weird. He's weird and he's skeevy, and I don't like his software, and I think I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Wow, that's a hot take.
I don't think it is, because I don't really know anybody that likes him. So
all right. Well, I've had good interactions with him, but okay.
That might be one of the biggest disagreements we've ever had on this show. I take likes Lin Tao.
I just have no reason to feel otherwise, but you clearly have.
No, I want you behind me. I want you saying, yeah, fuck that guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fuck that guy. That can be bought. I'm influenced. You're an influencer.
Nice.
Yeah. I think it's a really bad look on this dude, to the dentist, to be retaliating at all. This is not going to end well.
Very tough look for our guy.
That's just bad idea genes right there.
Yeah. So I have several thoughts about this, and I had a story that I wanted to tell in the opening, but I saved it for this because I think it applies. Okay. So first off, like I tell a lot of people, like, you got to care about your Yelp.
Right.
It's part of being a business owner. Yelp is squirrely and they do some shitty stuff. I get it. Like, they have this weird algorithm and they hide reviews. But there's a system behind doing it, and it's just part of the rules of playing the game, and they're here to stay. And it's kind of like I say, like, I don't love the instant replay rules in the NFL, but I still watch the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of comes along with the deal, and you just sort of deal with it. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
The same thing is true of Yelp. I don't like some of their rules, but you have to pay attention to it. It's part of being a business owner.
Yeah.
That being said, you can't care this much about it.
Yeah.
This is a lot. And this is just more than what this reaction is. I think about it in terms of like military stuff, right?
Okay.
So there's an idea of a proportional response in the military, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So proportional response is like, someone in Afghanistan shoots down a helicopter of ours.
Right.
We don't launch our entire nuclear arsenal at Afghanistan because they shot down a helicopter, right?
Right. Exactly.
Like, all right, we're going to take down a fucking weapons factory or Al Qaeda training camp or whatever, right? And then it's like, all right, it's like we traded this for that, and it's like, all right, now we're
even
again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What he's doing is not a proportional response to this.
No, and they say that there's no such thing as bad publicity, and I think we've found
this is bad publicity.
Bad publicity, yeah. Can't end well.
No, this is not going to look well, or this is not going to look good for the dentist, no matter what.
Even if he's totally right.
Yes. I often talk to dentists about one of the things that needs to happen when you get a bad review is reaching out to the patient.
Sure.
And letting them know, hey, I saw your review. I'd love to talk with you about it. Mm-hmm. Here's my phone number. Here's my email address.
As long as they're sane, as long as you know that this person is logical or sane. Because I have a bitch that she left a bad review. It was like 12 years ago, and she still stalks me on the internet to try to do fresh bad reviews.
Yeah,
I haven't seen her in fucking 13 years.
Yeah, no, I think most people are, right.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And I also tell, like, if someone leaves a nutty review, like it's just this like fucking Unabomber manifesto,
right. That's great.
Let crazy be crazy. That like is not going to look bad on you if someone leaves this long, insane sounding, reading from one of those notebooks that John Doe wrote in the movie Seven, right? If it's just like one of those, cool. Yeah. Like, I'd much rather have that than sort of a succinct, well thought out, well punctuated review.
Yeah, so it's almost the shorter it is, the more damage it'll do.
Yeah, if it's like 3 paragraphs of just succinct stuff, 2 paragraphs of succinct stuff that actually happened, and it sound reasoned, and they use the correct tense of there, or there, you know, like, cool. Yeah. Like, you know, that's way more damaging than someone who just goes ape shit nuts.
Yep.
So I have no problem with him reaching out to this person. None at all.
Right.
What I do have a problem with is threatening. Like anything to do with someone's care credit, because now you've stepped over from like poor business management technique to federal crime, to federal felony.
Yeah, that's
and potentially even just the like threat of that might be a felony. I'm not an attorney, but
yeah, that it's crossing a line for sure. It's
it seems like it. It seems like it's off the board.
Yeah,
like, you know, it's out to lunch. And so, you know, listen. I'm about to tell a story that's not so flattering.
Okay.
And again, this is my word that I'm trying to live by is a word called authenticity.
Okay.
Because
and if you can fake that, you can do anything.
Yeah. What I've realized is, like we talked about Lynn Tao, right?
Okay.
And I blasted shots at Lynn.
Yeah.
What I dislike about Lynn, I think, is that I feel he's very inauthentic.
Okay.
I think that Lynn and several of the people that we don't like, I'm not going to mention names.
Probably
I
not.
feel like the reason I don't like them is because they're inauthentic.
Okay.
They sell a part of themselves that's not an honest portrayal of themselves in order to do business.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. That doesn't speak to me, and in fact, like, it gets me going. And so part of like my sort of, I don't know, reinvention or whatever you want to call it of myself is like, if I had to boil my essence down to what my stage presence is from here on out, it's the word authentic, right? At the end of the day, I'm always going to be authentic, good or bad. I'm not going to talk about, you know, I'm not going to do and I'm not saying that Appa is inauthentic. What I'm saying is I'm not going to pretend to be Michael Appa, because that's not authentic. That's not what my practice is. I don't have fucking Ferraris. Like, that's, you know, so for me to try to pretend to do that, like some people are trying to do, is inauthentic. And that's what I don't want to be. So this is raw and authentic.
Yeah.
There's a guy in our neighborhood who lives like 10 houses down from me, 8 houses down from me, who has a sign in his yard. That's a metal sign, and it's about the size of, I don't know, a softball maybe. And it's next to his plants, and it's the outline of a dog like hiking their leg, peeing.
Okay.
And it says it's white, and it says in big black letters across it, no.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't want dogs peeing on his yard.
Okay.
Is what this sign is saying.
All right.
There's a couple other people in the neighborhood that have these same signs, but for dog pooping.
Okay.
Which I totally get.
And is it a picture of a dog taking a big old crap right there? Yeah.
And it says no on it.
Okay.
So I get, like, there's some asshole in the neighborhood that lets a dog shit on those people's yard and doesn't clean it up. And that's a problem. Like, we never do that shit.
Are we sure it's a dog?
Maybe. We're going to find out. Like, I may go out there and do that.
Yeah.
But that's like dog shitting. Like, since when does dog pee hurt anything? Right?
Yeah.
Fucking dog pee on your grass or your bushes. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, I mean, it'll turn it yellow, but fine.
I mean, it's not. This isn't 8 ounces of it. It's a few drops.
Yeah.
Like, they're little dogs. Who gives a shit? Like, the gram is 50 pounds. It's not that much pee. I promise.
Yeah.
And until I saw that sign, I never gave a shit if the dogs peed in that guy's yard. Whatever. Like, 9 times out of 10, they wouldn't. You know.
Right.
But since he put that fucking sign up, guess where I make the dogs pee every time? On his fucking yard. And I've been trying to get them to piss on that sign.
Nice.
I would have never like had that in my mind before, right?
Right.
So Saturday, we're out walking the dogs. We get back to the house, and in the car that's parked in the driveway, on like the windshield wiper, there's an envelope that says my name on it. It says Josh Austin.
Okay.
And I open up the envelope, and it says, Nah, fuck it. I'll put this guy on blast. Way. Has the guy's address on there. I probably shouldn't have said that. Might have to beep that one out.
We'll see.
And it said, please don't let your male dogs piss on our bushes. We'd like to enjoy them, whatever. We'd like to enjoy them for a long time.
Okay.
So I'm seeing red at this point for a couple of different reasons.
Okay.
Number one is, how does this guy know my name?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
How do they know my name? If you search for our address, my name does not come up.
Okay.
So I don't know how they figured out. And so I'm immediately sort of threatened that my name was on that.
Well, maybe
if you just
maybe marketing. You're marketing so good that your first name, I don't know.
How?
I don't know.
I don't know how they knew my name. And that scared me.
Yeah, it is kind of freaky. Yeah.
So I'm seeing red. And then they're basically like insulting my dogs. And fuck, like I was pissed.
Okay.
So I gave Graham to Andrea. I was like, go inside. And I'm fucking marching down to this guy's house. And so, of course, it's like, I don't know, it's 10 houses away. So it's like a 3-minute walk. And during the whole 3 minutes, I'm just getting even more pissed.
Oh, so you're not calming down? Not a cool off period?
No.
All right.
So I get to the door and I ring the doorbell and he doesn't answer for a few seconds. I know they're there because his shitty Subaru's in the fucking driveway.
Okay.
And I ring the doorbell again and he answers the door. He doesn't have a shirt on. Just weird.
All right.
And he's like in his 60s at least, but he's like in pretty good shape, which is like, fuck, this is weird. Huh. And by this point, I've kind of wadded up the note, right? Like in my hand as I've been walking.
Okay.
And he answers the door and he says, what the fuck do you want? So now we've got negative energy and it's on.
Yeah.
And so I throw the note in his face and I tell him, and I quote, fuck you and fuck your bushes.
All right.
And it's on at this point. And so he's like putting on a shirt at this point. It's like a weird like flannel shirt, like he's buttoning it up. So it's taking a long time.
Okay.
And he goes on to tell me like how big of a cocky asshole I am and blah, blah, blah. And I'm there just telling him like, it's fucking dog. It's like 4 drops of dog piss on your stupid bushes. It's not going to do anything to your bushes. It's not dog shit. Calm the fuck down. Like you're not that important. Your yard's not that great. Those bushes aren't that fucking special.
Right.
Back and forth, just back and forth. He's calling me cocky. He's calling me an asshole. He's telling me I should have a Trump sign in my yard, which is very strange because his neighbor has a Trump sign. And the whole time he's like, you should be like my asshole neighbor over here that has a Trump sign in your yard. I'm like, I don't understand how any of this has anything to do with any of this. Like, I'm not trying to talk politics with you.
Right.
I'm just here to tell you, like, don't fucking, you're telling me to not let my dogs piss on you. Don't write my fucking name on a letter and don't be digging and finding out. And so eventually at some point, it's like, I'm like, neither one of us are wearing a mask. And the guy's like high risk. He's in his 60s. So I'm like trying to
cough on him or
distance.
Spit on him.
Yeah. And he's inching forward and I'm kind of inching back because I don't want to be like in his face.
Sure.
And at some point I start kind of walking away and I get out. And plus it's like, I'm telling him not to come on my property and I'm on his property. And so I'm trying to kind of get off of his property.
Okay.
And at some point I'm kind of down by the street and he says, I don't even remember what he says to me. And I was like, you fucking want some? Come and get some. Like here, like at this point, I'm ready to scrap with this old man.
Okay.
I'm ready to throw some fucking fists.
All right.
Which in retrospect, I'm thinking back on it. It was like, it's a no-win situation for me. It's a 0-win situation.
Yeah.
Because option number 1 is I kick this guy's ass. And now it's like, the fuck are you doing? This guy's 64 years old. Like, why are you kicking this guy's ass? And option number 2 is he kicks my ass and it's like, you're 41 and this 65-year-old guy beat your ass. Like, neither way looks good, right?
There's no such, there's no beatdown quite as bad as a geriatric beatdown.
Right. And either way, even if I beat his ass down, like I look like the fucking dick that beat this guy down, right?
Yeah.
So eventually he says something like, yeah, hold on, let me go get my baseball bat. Now, then it's like at that point, like, yeah, you need a fucking weapon, you pussy, whatever.
Yeah.
So then I told him, like, listen, I'm going to stay the fuck away from you. You stay the fuck away from me. And later on, I'm driving by and he like waves me down and he apologizes and I apologize. And like, we're not best friends, but.
Well, not yet.
No, it's not going to happen. Because even in the apology, he's going off on his neighbor with the Trump. He's like, can you believe this guy with the Trump sign? And I'm like, dude, it's the United States of America. Like, that's what's great about it is that he has the right to have a Trump sign and that you have a right to have whatever sign you want. And like, that's the cool thing about it. And like, as he's going off on Trump, he's like, his wife is like pulling him into the garage. It was the weirdest fucking thing.
Did you let him know that you're a libertarian?
I let everybody know that. It was like the Trump derangement syndrome.
Wow.
Which I didn't really feel like, I thought was kind of just media bullshit, but then it was like, all right, I've just experienced it. Like, this guy is so deranged by Trump that, he's letting it color his whole life. But after I kind of like, we spent the whole fucking week of therapy on this week.
Okay.
So, what it came down to is like, I reacted in such a way that could have been and was very potentially very damaging for my business, right?
Yeah.
Had I either beat this guy's ass or this guy like goes on Nextdoor or his wife goes on Nextdoor to tell everyone how big of a fucking asshole I am and all that. Like, there's no way that any of that looks good, right? But in that moment, I was like seeing red and I wasn't able to sort of see that, right? And I'm assuming that's where this guy is.
Sure.
But at some point, this guy's got to fucking like snap out of it, Like I'm thinking of Cher in Moonstruck with Nicolas Cage, and she slaps him and says like, "Snap out of it!" Like, this guy's got to snap out of this shit, and like, you can't be threatening a patient over this. Like,
no,
refund their fucking money, do whatever. Like, get out of this as quick as you can. Like, you cannot be threatening this shit, on a patient, and as soon like he's just in that like seeing red zone and you've like, you got to get out of that seeing red zone and you can't, what my problem was and what I did wrong was that I reacted when I was seeing red.
Right. Yeah.
And the only way that's going to go is bad. And so what I should have done is fucking thrown the note away, gone inside and fucking chilled out and
little 24-hour rule.
That way.
Yeah.
And just chilled for 24 hours, And then, written him a note saying, I'll keep my dogs out of your yard if you take that stupid sign down. Like, whatever, like we could, whatever. But this guy just like this, like keeping and keeping and pushing on that deal is like really, really a tough look.
Yeah. My rule of thumb is, because I have these apps that'll pop up when I get a review, and my rule is if I'm responding, no matter what, don't respond right then. At least give it 24 hours, because I'm just instantly pissed off when I get this little note and it says,
yeah, absolutely. That's your first.
It's on my phone.
That's always your first reaction.
Yeah. So if I write one, right away, then I immediately delete it, so that if I try to say it again, it's going to be different when I do 24 hours later or later. So yeah, that was mistake one, was reacting right then. Easier said than done. I mean, I'm a reactionary guy for sure.
I am normally not like file the dental board against this guy. That's, that's never, ever, ever like my default position. And some people are like, call the state board right away. Like any little fucking thing happens, I call the state board.
Yeah.
And that is not where I'm at.
Yeah. I don't want people thinking to do that. I mean, frivolous board complaints.
I don't think this is a frivolous complaint though.
No, this guy went over.
This guy needs to be this guy needs to be turned into the state board.
Yeah.
And I would I've got attorneys that are friends who would gladly write letters for me, I would, if I were the patient, I would have an attorney send this guy a letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dentist, you're going to take a bigger L. You're going to take a bigger loss by pursuing and staying on this course than you are just the review.
Mm-hmm.
Because if this person goes on your Nextdoor or goes on Facebook or whatever and publishes a screen grabs of you threatening them with all this shit, it's fucking game over, man. It is over. Yeah. That is like you beat a 65-year-old's ass in his own driveway.
Yeah. If you're going to do this kind of shit, and you shouldn't, but if you do, no evidence. Yeah. Do it face-to-face, verbal. None of this written. Because, screen grabs. People are doing that all the time.
It's game over for this guy. And it's like, it's not worth it, man. Take the loss. Take the 1-star Yelp review. Fucking move on, man. On to Cincinnati, as Bill Belichick would say, Yeah. You just, you just can't be this invested in it. I got a 1-star review that I posted last week that was just 1 star on Google and nothing. And it was from a weird name. And so I click on it and there's just nothing there. And I'm like, I don't know who this is. And I went against what my normal advice is, which is to chill and then write kind of a well-measured response. And I just kind of wung it or winged it, wung it.
I think it's winged.
I winged it.
Yeah.
And I saw in his review history that he had given Whataburger a 1-star review. And so I just wrote something about look, dude, if you gave Whataburger a 1-star review, then I'll take the 1, and I think I said add cheese and water size it.
Yeah.
And he went back and updated his review and changed it to 5 stars.
Nice.
And then he typed something. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, I got a new phone here. And so all the buttons are in different spots.
Yeah.
I sound like a fucking grandpa, man. The buttons are in different spots. What happened to my buttons?
Yeah. I had a grandpa moment earlier today. My daughter got a Nintendo Switch and got a Super Mario game, and she knows I used to play, and so was trying to have me play. I'm sitting there spending the last half hour trying to figure out what button does this.
It's not Super Mario Brothers 2.
No,
it's a little different.
No.
He changed his review, which is the fucking only time this has ever happened in this series. It's history of mankind. Hi, sorry about that. I felt angry when I asked receptionist if you were accepting dental access plan. She wasn't able to hear what I was saying because the mask and the distance made the communication so difficult. I tried to take off the mask in order to speak clearly since we were more than 6 feet between us, but she said, no, you can't take off your mask. So I left the office without getting information. I fixed my mistake concerning your bad rating I gave you because you did not deserve it. Have a good day. So I then changed my response. Yeah, because that was cool. I was like, hey, man, wow, that was super cool of you. Thank you so much. Why don't you email me? And I give him my email address and I will get you all fixed up. Looking forward to hear from you. Of course, I never heard from him.
Yeah.
But I just if you want to get a little snarky or something like that in your public reply, I'm I'm way more okay with that than I am full on fire away. I'm going to charge your care credit.
Yeah,
fraudulently, so that you pay for this. That seems like a felony, and that's not the game I necessarily want to play.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Let's see if Mego My Ego has a decent post history here. From the subreddit of clot survivors.
Wow.
Transition experiences from Lovenox to warfarin. Any input would be appreciated. I was diagnosed with my first PE, I guess pulmonary embolism, in January 2020. I went to the emergency room for chest pain and stayed overnight the next day. I started a regimen of Xarelto. I was on Xarelto for 6 months and I got the same chest pain again. I went to the same emergency room and the ER doctor said, I have another PE. I was then to stabilize and they switched my medicine to Lovenox. My hematologist said I can't be on Lovenox for more than 2 years and he wants me to switch to warfarin soon. Has anyone experienced a transition from Lovenox to warfarin? Are there any noticeable side effects of switching? I'm nervous. I just don't want to clot again. Yeah, I wouldn't want to clot again either. From clot survivors, what is Coumadin like? Is it pain to always get blood work done?
Yeah.
What is Coumadin like?
I have no experience with that to be able to offer any advice or insight.
I hope I never get that. I don't want to get clots. Do you know last podcast on the left? I've had you listen to some of their shit before. One of their hosts is named Ben Kissel, and he's like 6'7", and he gets clots all the time in his legs and has to go and like wear the fucking
compression socks, or
the hose socks, or the Ted hose or whatever. So that his blood can come back to his heart.
Wow.
And he's talked about like all that stuff he has to do on the show before. And
is that just a common thing for people that tall? Is that?
Yeah, I just think I think at some point, like your veins have like you get venous pooling as you get older, and your connective tissue isn't quite as strong, and then your that blood has a hard time getting all the way from the leg all the way back up to the heart, and pools and clots, and it becomes a problem.
Doesn't sound fun.
No, I don't want to get a PE or a DVT, a deep vein thrombosis. You've been on long plane flights before. Have you ever had anything like that? Like you're supposed to do some stuff like when you're flying transatlantically?
I apparently do it correctly, because I will sit there and try to stretch in my little cubicle.
And then you try to do the Mile High Club thing.
Absolutely. And that takes some cardio.
Yeah, you get some blood flow going.
Absolutely.
Is it the Half Mile Club that you've joined?
I don't know. I think I was solo.
Well, that would be the Half Mile Club.
Oh,
right?
Okay. All right.
I think. One time I was in a pod, like in like full first class.
Okay.
It was more of an apartment than it was a pod. It was too much space.
Was it like on Emirates Air, or was it?
No, it wasn't like one of those.
Okay.
It was American.
Okay.
And it was from Dallas to Madrid, and I thought and it was like super dark in there. And there's a time like, for a little while they're coming around, like during service, they're coming around. This is a long time. Like they're not coming around. And I'm sort of like in a half like Valium / old crow stupor,
Yeah.
And at some point I'm like, that'd be fun. Like work one out up here. Like no one's around. No one's ever going to see me. Like there's like a door, like a waist high door. And I'm laying down like completely under this door, like, under 2 blankets. But there was like, I had enough Valium and Old Crow in my system that I realized there was some venous pooling, not allowing blood flow to where it needed to be.
Gotcha.
And I realized that wasn't going to work. Didn't happen, but yeah, that would have been the Half Mile Club.
No DVT, but a little ED.
Yeah. More like RWD, restless whiskey dick. I guess go. I would say.
Yeah. All right.
Reddit question 2 from K. 35 male. I got a tongue tie frenectomy a day ago, and I don't notice a difference in how much I can stick my tongue out. Concerned about oral sex. It was originally pulling on my gums. I thought about having it done to stick. I thought having it done would allow me to stick my tongue out more and have more mobility with it. I wanted to flick my tongue like a lizard. I swear to God, that's what it says. I'm concerned because I wanted to do it for dental health, sure, but I also wanted to do it to give better oral sex. And I still can't stick out my tongue past my lips and move it up or down when out, just only the tip.
Just the tip.
You only need the tip. You'll be fine. You've probably, in your airway-centric shit, have talked about tongue ties with people before, yeah?
Yeah. It seems to me the dentist probably just didn't do it as aggressively as the way I do it. I did have a patient where I did her tongue tie and lasered the hell out of it. And then she posted on social media that she might go lesbian to take advantage of her new tongue.
Holy shit. Did she not realize like bisexual was a perfectly fine waypoint in the middle? Like you don't have to go full ledge on this deal. Yeah. You can be totally fine as a bi.
Yeah, I decided to not give her any advice and just let that
one. Probably a good idea.
Let that one ride.
Could you notice a difference though? Like, before the procedure, stick your tongue out, and it's like, Yeah. I know this is an audio medium, but for Lance and me, And then after the procedure, stick your tongue out and she can go like Gene Simmons, you know?
Yep. She did.
Is that what it was like?
Yeah, she was.
Can you do that? I've never done a frenectomy, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she actually, I was going to be fairly conservative. And then she said, can you really go at it? I want to be able to stick it out.
Do you think Gene Simmons has had a frenectomy?
I wondered if that was something that, maybe it was a trauma. Maybe it was third grade on a bike and fell off and just lacerated his tongue. But then he realized his new superpower, and his origin story was bike riding.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I don't picture Gene Simmons as being like the most sharing lover of all time.
Well,
like, he's got this fucking tongue, but I don't picture him as like being like, oh yeah, baby, like, hold on. We're about to go to the fucking Sizzler salad bar for the next hour and a half. I just don't picture that happening.
I saw him on an interview bragging that he could get any guy's girl to want him and leave her guy in a matter of minutes. And it was
because of that.
Yeah.
I just don't picture him like being that thoughtful of a lover. I picture him as being just like a selfish fucking rock star, just like, it's all me, baby. Get to work.
Well, if you really enjoy that aspect, then it's not you giving. It's just you satisfying yourself. I mean,
You look so uncomfortable right now. Your eyes are darting left or right.
Yeah.
Like you're being interrogated by the fucking police. Holy shit.
I think there was some speculation that Michael Hutchins, it was not an accidental death, that he had some sort of trauma where his sense of taste was gone, and
he got COVID.
Yeah, he was the first Rona guy back in the 90s, and that was really important to him, and to not be able to taste during was one where that it was over.
What are you reading?
I'm not reading anything. I'm just
read this somewhere.
Yeah, like after his death. So,
and that was in the obituary?
No, it was an article, someone lamenting his death and speculating
that he killed himself because he couldn't taste the sweet pleasures of the female body.
That's one of their stories.
That's a real tough obituary to read.
Yeah.
For the love of God, if I die, Lance, while this show is still going, you have to make sure that my obituary says that I died because I couldn't taste vagina anymore.
After I delete your internet history?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
How the fuck did we get off? Okay. For younger listeners that don't know who Michael Hutchins is, you want to give a quick rundown on that?
It's the lead singer of INXS, one of the greatest Australian rock bands of all time.
So you are a fan of INXS?
I loved them. Yeah.
You loved them.
Yeah. They were a great.
How do you feel about them now?
Not so much. They did a reality show to try to replace Michael and get a new lead singer, and it's just nah. Once he died, it was over.
So when I listen to NXS now, I don't think it's very good.
Well, see, it was on the radio when I was in junior high and high school.
Okay.
So
all right. So I can see that. So with the fucking New Kids on the Block.
I was in college.
Well, when I was in junior high, New Kids on the Block was on. And yeah, might I have listened to Hangin' Tough? Is that New Kids on the Block? I think it is. Yeah, for sure. But I don't like if fucking Danny died from self asphyxiation. I wouldn't be still listening to that, Right. Or if Dwayne, Jordan, or if any of those guys, any of that Worcester crew, any of those Worcester crew, if they died, Danny died of asphyxiation. He choked himself, bro. I wouldn't still be like, oh my God, such a great lost talent. I just don't like any of NXS's songs. They seem very They're just very of that time period. They're just very late 80s. And I feel like late 80s is one of like late 80s specifically. Pop music of the late 80s was specifically bad.
Well, their biggest album was late 80s, but their first was like 82, 83. So they were just like right there in the middle of the decade there. And a product of MTV. I mean, MTV actually showed videos back then, so they were in heavy rotation.
Yeah, what was their big one that was like a big video? I was trying to look on Apple Music.
Their good video was Never Tear Us Apart. That was slow, a ballad more than anything. But the whole Kick album was like full of...
I think I'm thinking of the New Sensation video is the one that when I think of NXS, I see in my mind.
Okay.
Or maybe Need You Tonight. Yeah, all of their stuff sounds the same to me. Every fucking song sounds exactly the same.
Well, there's definitely a style, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Devil Inside was pretty fun. But I think that probably their biggest ballad would be Never Tear Us Apart.
The other day, Mr. Mister came on my Pandora at the office.
Oh, really?
What was that one?
Was that Kyrie Eleison or Kyrie?
Wasn't
it?
Broken Wings.
Oh, there we go.
And it was like it's so 80s and terrible, but every word and so there is sort of that like car crash 80s that like is still like it's still good in a way.
Yeah.
But NXS is not that to me.
Okay.
I'm sure there's people out there that still love them, but not a fan. Back to Caveman here.
Okay.
Jesus, that was your derail.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you do a revision on a frenectomy? So you didn't get it enough to start.
Go back and do more?
Go back and do more.
Yeah.
Can you do too much? I think that answer is yes, right?
It sounds like no. It sounds like just keep going.
Oral surgeons, let me know. Can you do too much?
Yeah.
I feel like you probably could, right? Like you'd be in the base of the tongue.
Yeah, I think realistically, there's probably a limit. I haven't reached it. I don't think.
It goes up to 11, you see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Should they always be able to stick their tongue out more? So my thought is here, like, what if he doesn't have an anterior tongue tie? What if he has a posterior tongue tie? Because that's absolutely a thing.
Okay.
And that's not really something that you can laser away. A posterior tongue tie is a much tougher thing to like get to the source of that and deal with. Huh. So I remember Rouse in the Rouse courses I took, used to talk about posterior tongue ties all the time. And I remember like he had slides of showing a posterior tongue tie versus an anterior tongue tie and the differences between the two. And that posterior tongue ties are just much harder to deal with. And so you could take all this freedom away. You could use a fucking laser gun and blast it all away. But if he's posterior tongue tied, it ain't coming out anymore.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the posterior tongue tie, so I couldn't really add to any of that. Never really come across it, or haven't looked for it at least.
Yeah, it's hard to see. I remember on Rouse's slides, I'm looking it up. It was like the tongue just kind of really flattened at the base. And so he showed like pre and post reduction, like anterior tongue tie reduction. And like that there wasn't a huge difference between the two in the way the tongue emerged from the mouth. And so that leads me to believe like that may be what this guy has. He may have a posterior tongue tie.
Oh, that would make sense.
And in that case, I'm not 100% sure that a frenectomy is going to do anything for it.
Right.
That's a game. Like the people that like are doing tongue ties on like newborns, and they're doing that shit on like a 4-day-old baby. That's not what I want to do in my office, bro. I
don't want to be doing that. Yeah. Well, number one, I don't want to encourage seeing kids. So.
Especially like a 4-day-old child. Like if something goes wrong, Holy shit. Like and how much can you charge for that? Like I just don't feel like the risk. I don't know at what number of these I'd have to like assist on or see, or I don't know at what point I would consider myself proficient enough to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That floor of the mouth, man. I just like to stay way clear of that thing.
Yeah.
Working down there is not exactly where I want to be.
No, I've more than one occasion where I lacerated and it fucking looks like a tauntaun, guts spilling out. So
yeah, not good.
Not my thing.
Oh my God, Lance.
Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck.
What part of the dark web are you on now?
So I clicked. All right, so we got to beef out a couple things in this episode.
Okay.
We got to beef out the guy's address.
Okay.
And we got to beef out this guy's Reddit name because I just looked at his post history.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. This is the worst one we've ever had.
No.
Yes. There are all kinds of comments in BBW subreddits.
Okay.
Do you know what BBW stands for? Come on, dude. Come on.
Big beautiful woman.
Big, beautiful women.
Okay.
Stuff like, I want you to be the first one I'm going to try my new tongue out on.
Okay.
Good job. Now fill up that hard drive with your own porn. LOL.
Yeah, that still doesn't sound nearly as bad as that dark shit we were pulling early in the show.
This is worse, dude. This is so worse. All right. This is the worst because he posted in the subreddit of Rate My Cock. How do you like my Woody? And it's, oh, fuck me, Lance. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Did he get a laser release on that one too?
Oh, my God. In the subreddit of Hookup, 35 male looking for fun with mature BBW near Kansas City, Missouri. Ready to provide the liquid thrust to blast someone off to Mars. I swear to God, that's what he wrote. In the subreddit of, where did that go? Cum Cannon Addicts.
Huh.
I like the vast majority of these comments that he's made. I cannot. Oh my! There's another dick picture. Jesus Christ, Lance. There's holy shit, Lance. I cannot get this off my screen. It is just he's posting his dick on all of these things, Lance.
Jesus, Homeland Security is going to come over to your place tomorrow, and
you're telling me that oh my God, Lance. He posted in. He posted in the subreddit of Rate My Cock, and it said, Bustin makes me feel good. Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me? Oh, my God. He's also posting at Suicide Watch. This is the worst.
Now
ever.
It is officially the worst because as that would push them over the edge by looking at his or
no, it says suicide is not selfish. I'm not reading any more than that.
All right.
I don't want to scroll down anymore because I see the next one and it's a video and it's in the subreddit of jacking and I don't want to see this, Lance.
I think it's okay to walk away at this point.
What the fuck, Lance? We have to beat this guy's name out.
Yeah. There's going to be a delay in the release of this episode, so I can make sure I find all of the parts that need to be beeped.
Can we even release this?
Sure.
I mean, he posted it, right?
Yeah, it's out there. It's already out there. So this isn't password protected, and only membership would get you the details. This is, yeah.
This is wild.
This is something.
Wild.
Yeah, wild and wacky stuff.
This is the weirdest hole we've ever gone down.
Yeah. I didn't think so at first, but then, yeah, you did it.
I think we're going to have to beep part of like where I read. God, can we? I don't know what to do with this. What do we do with this?
We just roll the dice and let it ride. It's art.
I'm for the first time ever during the run of this show. I'm nervous about this.
Nah, you're good. You're fine.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he's posting this stuff himself.
Yeah. We'll just bleep the name and it'll be good.
Holy shit, Lance. This is the weirdest, weird dark turn. This is like, do you remember that movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage? Second Nicolas Cage reference in this episode.
Yeah.
This is like where Nicolas Cage takes a deep, dark dive into the world of snuff porn.
Right.
I feel like Nick Cage.
Yeah. Well, I thought when you were saying this is the worst ever, I thought, oh shit, we're talking snuff porn, and it didn't quite go there, but it wasn't far.
No, it's as deep as Reddit will let people go.
Yeah.
we've never had a question from someone that posted a video in the subreddit of jacking, Lance.
Well, not that we're aware of.
I look at these pretty close.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were you saying about Michael Hutchins? He lost his sensitivity.
Yeah, taste was important to him. Just really loved women. And then David Carradine said, "Oh, hold my beer."
Oh, God, Lance. Well, I guess that's going to about do it.
Yeah, you pick the song?
I do have a song.
Okay.
It's very appropriate.
Okay.
God, don't share this with your friends.
Not this one, no.
I felt really good about this show because we were really authentic at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we really, I thought we had some good stuff, and then we fucking find this guy.
Well,
who's all over the jacking subreddit.
Yeah, every party needs a pooper.
Bustin makes him feel good. Jesus Christ. I've never seen so many posts in the beautiful cum shots Reddit before in my life. I didn't think that was possible for someone to have posted so many times in that subreddit.
Wow.
But here we found it. And thank God that we did. Lance.
Yeah. It's
God, the internet is terrible. It is a horrible, horrible place.
It really is. And
why does anybody go on the internet?
I'm bored. It's not
Take
good.
a walk, people. Fuck. God, I just... Rate and review.
Or don't.
What's your favorite number?
I think it's 5.
I don't... At the first half of this episode, we earned 5 stars. It's this guy that didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't blame us for his shit.
Exactly.
I can't help it that he posted on the dentistry subreddit. I don't look at these things before we start.
No.
I look at them as I'm pulling them up, and that's when I found fucking Bustin makes me feel good. I'm going to go watch Ghostbusters now. Bustin makes me feel good.
Yeah, find a ghost
on the web.
Fillets Ackroyd.
It's still my favorite scene of all time. It's the weirdest scene ever. This is a fucking family movie.
It's a family film, yeah.
And he's getting a blowjob from a ghost. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Go watch Ghostbusters. Hit us up on the web, workinginterferences.com. Oh, I didn't say if you're flicking through Podbean, flick 5 stars. Everybody wants to hear that. So there you go.
There you go.
The web, workinginterferences.com. All the social bullshits. Facebook, Working Interferences, Josh and Lance. Funny shit for Dennis and Dental team members. Hit us up on Twitter at Winterferences. Hit us up on Instagram at Winterferences. You can find Lance on Instagram at Dr. Timmerman DMD. You can find me on Instagram at Joshua Austin DDS. I've been trying to post some more cases lately. I don't know if you noticed.
I have noticed, yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like anybody gives a fuck, but I feel like there's some cases that turned out okay.
Yeah.
Throw those up there instead of just like dog pictures or whatever. Hey, have you ever heard of a band? They're a little band from like the 70s, and they're called Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
you ever know them?
I am.
You ever hear them?
I'm familiar. Yeah.
Okay. This is not them.
Okay.
It's a cover of one of their songs.
Oh.
I like this song of theirs called Everywhere.
Okay.
It is, I'm trying to think of you got Mick, right? Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah. Chrissy McVie.
I think this is a Chrissy McVie song where she sings it because it's not.
Not Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, it's not Stevie.
Or Lindsey Buckingham.
It's not Lindsay. It's the other girl. Okay. So it's got to be Christy McVie. Yeah. She's on vocals, and I think she plays keys.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. But this is a cover of that song by the band Roosevelt. And so it's kind of like an indie pop version of that song.
Nice.
And I feel like their music has aged particularly well. So like we talked about NXS and like how NXS sounds very particular, like 1987. Like 1987 sounded like something it would be NXS.
Okay.
And that doesn't exactly like that sound sounds very dated.
Okay.
But like Fleetwood Mac, you listen to Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah.
And it's like, it's just good pop music.
Yeah,
like it could be from 1974 and it could be from 1994. It could be from 2004 or 2019. Right. Yeah. So like, I kind of think a lot of Beatles stuff sounds like that. Like you listen to Blackbird, which is like the greatest B-side of all time. In my opinion is Blackbird. It was just like a B-side. I forget on what album, on what single. It's just like that fucking song could be from anywhere. It could be from today. It could have been from 40 years ago. It could have been from 60 years ago. It's just a good song. And like NXS doesn't do that. NXS sounds like 1987. It sounds exactly like 1987.
Okay.
And like you want to put on some fucking Neon Jam shorts and a Tony Hawk tank top, right?
Every day, right now.
So I don't know. There's something about like music that sounds kind of timeless like that. And this sounds like that. And a lot of Fleetwood Mac sounds like that. For some reason, my Pandora at the office have been playing a lot of Fleetwood Mac lately.
Okay.
And that's one thing I've noticed. Like even Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow, which I just have a hard time associating that song with anything other than Bill Clinton, because that was like his campaign song, right?
Yeah.
But it still just sounds like a pop song. Like it doesn't necessarily sound like a dated pop song. Yeah. So Landslide is kind of the same way. Everywhere is kind of the same way. Like these songs are just all like really great songs. And
good.
It's a great freaking band, man.
Yeah, they really are.
You got anything else?
I got nothing.
We tried really hard today, Lance. And I feel like we were brought down.
Well.
I feel like we took it on the chin at the end.
Yeah.
Like we were up like 7 rounds to 2 going into the 10th round.
Yeah.
And then
it's the Atlanta Falcons playing the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And just shit the bed.
Yeah. And we just took one on the chin at the end because of that guy. But I'm going to hold my head up high because I feel like the first 80% of the episode, I thought we were doing good.
For sure. Yeah.
It started to waver. Like the trailer started to fishtail a little bit when you were talking about Michael Hutchins. And then we fucking jackknife like really quick after that.
I'll take it.
No, it's not you. It's just that we started to feel that shimmy a little bit. And then it was just like we didn't steer into the skid. And
Gotcha.
we just jackknifed that 18-wheeler on the interstate.
That we did.
And now the interstate's closed and it's backed up for 75 miles. So
yeah. Well,
for Lance Timmerman, I'm Joshua Austin. Peace. Stay fresh, cheese bags.